A cash-in only a visionary could see, and still, we run on Tiffy time. It's night one of SummerSlam next. I might need some crutches and a brace after that cash-in, so I am on the floor and the ref is about to start the 10 count. Topic number one, how you get punked, and it is Seth freaking Rollins. I absolutely love this cash-in. Yeah, we had some uncertainty with that knee injury that made things very fishy for the last several weeks, so I thought there was a good chance that it was all a ploy, and it was a pretty innovative plan that they came up with in that Saturday night's main event match with LA Knight to get to this cash-in, and I love letting Punk celebrate his victory for quite a while before Rollins interrupted, and then he turned around, which put us in a little bit more doubt, and then I loved him putting out his arms as he tossed his crutches onto the floor, Monday Night Messiah style. The only notes that I have here were that Heyman also didn't turn around, so that kinda let us think that Rollins was still gonna do something, because if he had turned around, well, maybe that just would have been it. I also would have liked to have seen the Braun Squad here to help them get their heat back after losing earlier in the night, so perhaps Rollins could go into the ring on crutches and let those two destroy Punk first, so then Rollins could just get the final stomp at the end. Nonetheless, this still gets an A. But for the match itself, well, I might be in a minority opinion here, but I didn't really care for it that much. It was a bit of a slog for my liking, lots of holds, not enough offense by Punk, and I really didn't get that announce table spot at all. Gunther is not really one to overdo the gloating, so getting on the announce table didn't seem like what he would usually do. We had heard of a pre-existing nose injury out of him, so this was a smart way to make that injury part of the storyline, and then winning due to the dude not being able to see his own blood, well, that was just a little bit weak to me, and it still took 2 GTSs, so a little unfortunate, but certainly the cash-in makes it worth it. Let's go to topic number 2, and Roman redemption. I guess the main story was the Braun Squad being the biggest bullies in the yard, and we needed to put them in our place, but that is a tale as old as time, so the underlying story seems to be the more interesting one, with Reigns finally learning from years and years of being the oppressor, and he now is actually helping his family, and he did that when Jay needed it the most, taking the spear from Breakker instead, and so when you're selfless, it does indeed help the team out instead, so Jay immediately finished it off with a spear and the splash to get the win. And Reigns with the 1D was also surprising, and I'm sure Jimmy is perfectly fine with that. So this was a solid opener, and it was good to clear the OTC out so that we could get this out of the way and onto that main event that we really like to see later in the night. Alright, on to topic number 3, and this is the Allies of Championships. This could have gone very badly with Alexa punching Charlotte in the face, and I'm pretty sure we've seen that exact angle somewhere before, and instead Charlotte was looking like she might attack Alexa and instead booted Raquel. So this was a smart way to show that these two are allies, and, well, I guess they just might be friends yet, somewhere in the very near future. I'm of course very happy for Charlotte as well. The crowd was pretty bad both nights, but at least they knew how to woo! So this has helped Charlotte's transformation, and it is now that she is clearly getting all cheers. I'm not exactly sure about the rematch on Raw. I hope that they would have ignored that for a while, but oh well, I guess we're going to have to move along, but they might just get left off of TV for quite a while with no matches. On to topic 4, Steely Sami. This was frustrating, but also not too surprising. We've seen this page in the playbook before, and you had to know when Scarlett tried to give that pipe to Sami and laid it at his feet that he was simply not going to use it. It was nice for him to try to think that he would do this when the ref had to pull him back off of Cross from the ropes 3 separate times, so I guess if he's going to win the title, well, it'll be as the current version of Zayn. And yes, I guess that is perfectly fine, but the bigger problem is that Cross not only lost this one, Zayn also didn't even have to show his darker side, so it looks like Cross is completely failed in his attempt here, and it's simply crushing because he's done such good work all year long, so now we're simply left in limbo if we'll even get to see him again. Topic number 5, Tiffy Tornado. Well, the end of the match mirrored real life because Jade certainly has ridiculous power, and she showed it with the Jaded, but something is just a little bit off still, like her overpinning Tiffy in this particular match. So yes, Tiffy got those legs on the rope, and then Jade overextended herself going for the avalanche Jaded. So Tiffy is just too good and too athletic, so she had the Tornado DDT and the prettiest moonsault ever to win. And I guess I ignored my eyes, the Jade is just not quite there yet, and the lack of the build did not help her out one bit. Perhaps we will be turning this one into a rematch with Jade turning into a heel herself, so maybe that will start Jade's reign instead. And I guess I have to say that would make sense for when Bianca comes back, she can return and be just herself. So we might be able to get that Bianca-Jade match pretty soon. Alright, topic number 6, roll out. Because if you're looking for praise, well, you're not gonna get it here. This was a dreadful waste of real talent, because the best thing of Jelly Roll was that he simply laid there. And you know what? He didn't even do that right, because he stayed down for far too long, and that simply grounded the match to a halt. So the 3 real competitors in this match simply didn't know what to do, and they seemed to be moving at about 1/10 speed for about 5 minutes until Jelly Roll finally got into the right position that he needed to get to a lot faster. So props to Logan Paul for another awesome splash, then making Jelly Roll look non-horrific, I suppose, with the clotheslines and the chokeslam. And I am shocked by the actual result of this match, and I'm also glad that Triple H didn't commit to Jelly Roll on the post-show for the future, but taking a loss now probably means that he'll be back for revenge. Topic number 7 is our SmackDown Minute. Well, I hated the dumb face turn that we got by Cena. Truly terrible. We'll talk about that in the next video. Julia and Zelina got a couple This Is Awesome champs. I didn't think that they deserved it, but it was still a pretty good match, so I can see that Julia is really good, and let's just have her need a little bit more work to get it all to click. Los Garza, I guess, got a consolation prize by defending those AAA titles, and it was for fun to see Psycho Clown and Mr. Iguana, but we didn't get enough Yeska in this one. Priest and Black definitely got unhinged. Priest will be wanting revenge. We would have liked to see Black get on the SummerSlam card, but I guess this was okay. Tonga and Jimmy, that was a pretty rough debut for Tonga. Jimmy's splashes looked absolutely terrible, which I guess they had to in order for Tonga to be able to grab him when he's laying on the ground a couple times. But I am worried about Fatu and Orton and Jelly Roll losing by the end of the show, so that did not work out for me because I didn't get to make my picks until after we got to see that. Alright, on to the winner of the week. Well, Seth Rollins is our winner of the week, and many people knew that he was faking that injury, but I simply don't believe them, and I thought it too based on the lack of the definitive information on his injury, and I frankly hope so because I wanted my LA Knight pick from Saturday night's main event to have been what was actually happening, and I am glad that I was right there. And this was simply one of the best cash-ins of all time, so when everyone feels like they've seen them all, we can now proceed with Raw and what is best for business, and that is Seth Rollins as champion. So congrats to the champ. You have done it again. 2 very, very impressive cash-ins in your 2 attempts, a decade apart from each other. Rollins still has it. Paul Heyman's still near the top of his game, and we definitely want to see more from the Braun Squad. And lastly, let's go to our loser of the week, and that unfortunately is Karrion Kross. Not only didn't he get the win, he also didn't get Zayn to use the pipe, or he didn't get Zayn to admit that Kross was right. Instead, he lost definitively once and for all to the same old Sami Zayn. And again, that was unfortunate because he was too good for too long in this feud. So if this is the way that this simply ends for him, I'm just gonna feel really sad about it because this simply shouldn't be it. But unfortunately, we're simply left with nothing left in storyline, and he may also have no contract here in the next couple weeks or so. But come on, WWE, It's time for a tick-tock. We simply need more Karrion Kross. Well, looks like I finally comfortably beat the 10 count, but we're still only halfway through. Stop the 10 count this week because night 2 of SummerSlam is coming up next. But if you missed all of my bets over the weekend for both nights of SummerSlam, be sure to go right on over here and check that out. Until next time, which will be very soon, I am the SportsZu, and this has been Stop the 10 Count.